Generally, I do yoga about 3 hours every day, and this is just the yoga. But I'm also like I also do bhakti yoga, which is Bhagavad Gita and all. But this is just a part of my lifestyle. So happy. It's not something that I separate myself from. It's very similar to that. If I have food every day, then I need to also do yoga every day. So I think that's what my idea about it.
Okay, awesome. Okay, what motivated you to start Satviko?
So in the West and globally, if you talk about yoga, people understand yoga as a set of few postures, while yoga is way beyond that. Yoga is a lifestyle, as I was telling you before the call, and a very important part of the yogic lifestyle is nutrition. So if you travel globally now, you would realize that people talk a lot about yoga, but people really don't talk about nutrition and the food in yoga. While in our entire science of yoga, which goes up to about 5-7 thousand year old in India, the most important part, or a very very important part of the entire yogic lifestyle, was the food. In fact, to an extent where Ayurveda, which I believe is a subset, a science that is a subset of yogic science, believe that it's the food which is the medicine. In fact, if I don't know if you know about it, but the doctors in Ayurveda in the ancient times, they had to be great chefs first. So they had to really create very tasty food, which basically they could give to the people who needed, who are the patients and all, and which they would love to eat and would also work as a medicine. So that's why in our homes, it's the mom who's the chef, and she would also tell you a lot of this, ghar ke nuske, the remedies, the home remedies, which become very famous generations to generation. So that's why the food was a very important part of this entire science, remains a very important part of the entire science, but somewhere this has not been really talked about. So we thought that maybe using this Satviko as an idea, we would love to take the science of food in yoga to every home in the world, and we would let people understand the importance of nutrition, the right kind of yogic nutrition, when they do yoga practice, or even when they are not doing yoga practice, because that is what will keep them healthy, happy, and will help them lead a wholesome life. So I think that was the initial start of the idea.
My goodness, I love the
And
fact
this is
that.
chai.
Thank
I got
you.
the chai for you.
Oh, so this is chai with Satviko today. Yes. We do
Yeah,
a
chai
small
with
cheers
chai
also,
with
virtual cheers. I love the fact that how food was the medicine. And I mean, for somebody who loves food, it's the ideal situation. Like, I didn't realize that that is how it worked.
Anything that goes inside. I'll just take a little 30 seconds on that as well. It is the food that you digest. It is not the food that you eat. What the concept has changed today, because most of the time trying we are trying to eat food for a sensual gratification, while the food is not just for the sensual gratification. It is to basically give nutrition to your body, right? So if the nutrition is balanced, if the nutrition is perfect, then typically speaking, that is what is going to act as the medicine for your body and mind.
Yeah, I mean, if my roti sabji could actually help me from taking a dolo medicine, I would always prefer, having roti sabji then. But jokes apart, this is really new and interesting. I mean, I had no idea about this. I have to ask you, like, how is Satvika different from other food brands, who claim to be very nutritious and they're healthy food products?
So first of all, we create the food based on the yogic principles of food and nutrition. So there are 6 pillars of yogic nutrition, or 6 elements of yogic nutrition. So the 6 elements are henceforth. So in the ancient times, when they used to kind of look at food, they used to not divide food on the basis of proteins, or fats or carbs or vitamins. They used to look at food in a more wholesome way. But then we went inside it and basically tried to figure out what were the basic elements of a yogic diet, and came out about 6 elements. So the first element is the grains and the millets. Second is legumes and beans. Third is fruits and vegetables. Fourth is herbs and spices. Fifth is nuts and seed, and sixth is the cold pressed oils. So typically, any yogic food, any food which is balanced in nutrition, should be made using these 6 elements. So the yogic food has to adhere to 3 important pillars, So the first is that it has to be plant-based. Second, it should be eaten in Sukhasan at the right time of the day. And the third very important part of the yogic food is that the yogic lifestyle is that you need to complement the yogic food with the right yogic, workouts and the exercises and the yogic lifestyle as well. So when you actually divide food not on the basis of the proteins and the carbs that it has, but on the basis of these 6 elements, and when you are able to combine these 6 elements in any proportion, in the right proportion throughout the day, you are actually eating the almost all the nutrients which are required by a body in the balanced proportion. So what we do in Satviko, when we create food, we look at least amount of processing, which is like either no processing or minimally processed. At the same point of time, we combine these 6 elements of a yogic nutrition or yogic diet into our food, so that when the food basically is created, they don't have any additives. Like a lot of people talk about whey protein, soy protein, a lot of these supplements like curcumin and all. We don't use all that stuff. We basically stick to the basic 6 elements of the food, and we basically try to combine them in the right proportion so as to give you the nutrition, the balanced way. And the kind of food products that come out are basically high in antioxidants, high in protein, high in fiber, high in iron, very dense in nutrients. They're all plant-based. They're all non-GMO. They are basically also very functional. So you would actually get the right amount of strength, endurance. There'll be anti-fatigue. So I think when you talk about taking a dolo medicine, the reason why we need to take any medicine is that the body's immune system or the body's balance has gone out of balance. In Ayurveda, we talk about balancing the dosha. In the yoga or in the modern yoga, we can talk about balancing our entire vital function. And the food, if combined well in these 6 elements, will really help you to basically balance your entire vital systems or your internal body, mind and soul in the right way. And you will not be really dependent on the medicine so much.
This is really good. So, I heard that you are also from Udaipur, and even I am from Udaipur. So I
You are
think
from
we have.
Udaipur. Where do you live? I can talk about it later, I mean.
Do you think it's the Udaipur heritage coming into play and helping you come up with this idea and how to practice and promote the idea as well?
So Udaipur, as we all know, that it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. A person who has lived in Udaipur, it is very difficult for that person to leave Udaipur. So I think my journey has always circled around that entire idea that I wanted to create a base out of Udaipur for my company. And I think in my first company, I had one of my offices in Udaipur. And also in this company, Satviko, we have set up a very large manufacturing unit now in Udaipur. So this unit is about 15 kilometers from Udaipur at a place called Iswal. It's on the highway which basically connects to the port of India, the Gujarat ports. And we have actually set up a very large factory that also has Yog Shala, that has also got organic gardens at the factory. We also are now setting up a yoga retreat at that place. We have the plans. The plans that we have is that we have actually created a large globally compliant facility. So this facility basically is compliant with all the global quality standards and everything. And we have got a very awesome team which is taking care of the factory. So the idea is to basically make Udaipur as the hub for global yoga and wellness. So there are a lot of these other places in the world like Rishikesh that are very famous. But I think the climate of Udaipur, except the 2-3 months in summers, is one of the most beautiful and one of the most conducive climate to promote yoga and yogic wellness related stuff.
I love the idea that how there's a factory, but there's also, a yoga retreat happening next to it. I mean, then it becomes more natural and, somewhere you would actually like to enjoy and do yoga also while taking care of your health. Amazing. So now, sometimes there are moments you have to maintain a balance. Now, I think that I tend to, lose out on that balance of having nutritious food and, having junk food. So any tips on how to maintain a balance or how to go about, having more of nutritious food?
So I think the problem with most of us is that we think that nutritious food cannot be tasty and delicious. So a food is called junk because a junk food is devoid of most of the nutrients that you would need. While a food is not junk or the food is something that is nutritious when it has got most of the nutrients in the balanced way. So as I said that in the In the earlier times, the Ayurvedic doctors had to be chef first. At our home, our mom will cook the simplest khichdi and the other meal, and that would be the tastiest meal in the world. The reason for that is that we basically have to understand that any food that basically combines these five or six elements of a yogic diet in the right way can be made delicious. It's on the person, is on the person who's cooking that. It's basically responsibility of that person to cook it in a way that it has all the love, it has all the deliciousness, so that the person who is eating that would love it. So when I say the difference between the junk food and the food which is yogic food is just very simple, that a yogic food is made with all the love. A yogic food is basically made with all the 6 elements of a yogic diet, also adhering to the 3 different principles of how a yogic diet should be consumed. So I think once you are basically creating any food using these principles and these 6 elements, I think the food can be made delicious, while you can still have the delicacy of a pizza, of a burger, or of anything that you like to eat. You can still create yogic food using these 6 elements and the 3 principles of it. So I think next time when you ask this question, someday I would like to invite you to one of these tasting sessions that we do, where we create some awesome food, some delicious food. At the same point of time, we also adhere to the 6 principles of a yogic diet so that it has all the balanced nutrition.
I'm sold. Is it in Udaipur?
Yeah, so our factory is in Udaipur, so we do tastings over there. So I will invite you next time.
Amazing. I'm sold. I'm on the next flight to Udaipur now. Done. So I think something which yogic food also is, very similar in terms of Tazo also, that Tazo is also looking towards, creating fresh food. And like you mentioned that how it has those 6 elements. So it is very important the food that we are eating is also fresh. So something which Tazo also believes in a lot. So now I have to ask that how has your experience been with Tazo?
I know Aditi well, and your founders. First of all, your founders are amazing people. I think it's not easy once you have reached a certain level of success in your professional career to actually go back to the basics and start a company. And I think that's what they've done. Till now, whatever has been the journey, it has been phenomenal. And I think you guys are improving phenomenally on a daily basis. So I think I've not used Tazo as a customer yet because it's not in Delhi. I live in Delhi, so I've not got the chance to experience that. But at the same point of time, I think whatever I've heard from the customers, the other people who have used it in my network, I think people find it amazing. The entire vision that you guys have, I think if it can be spread at every corner, every part of the country, probably a lot of this food as a medicine will be something that people will start understanding more clearly. So I think amazing job, guys. I mean, I'm really happy to have known you, and basically happy to be a part of this conversation that we are now having over chai.
Oh yes, thank you so much. In fact, that's the end of our chai with session. Chai with Satvik Roy.